Hey everybody, welcome back to Grit and Grind. The clips that you're about to see, I was filming for another video, and then that video started to get too long, and what I was doing in that video, in this video that you're about to watch, it really could be its own video, and I thought you might find it useful, so instead of splitting this up into multiple parts, I'm going to make this one its dedicated video on fixing a fuel line on a Stihl chainsaw. Should be good for pretty much any chainsaw, not necessarily just Stihl, because the instructions are going to be pretty much the same. They're all set up pretty much the same way. So, hope you enjoy it. I'll come back to you at the end. Alright, I did a little bit more investigating with this 021 to see why it wouldn't start. I knew for a fact that it had a new spark plug in it, a new filter, so air filter and fuel filter. It's always been a little cold-blooded, so don't exactly know why, or I didn't know why, until I started looking around. So I actually flipped this sideways. I went to fill it with more gas, and you can see that fuel line is cracked. So what I did is went ahead and ordered a new fuel line. Just got this off of Amazon. There are a lot of parts you can find for your Husqvarna and Stihl saws right off of Amazon. You can get filters, lines, spark plugs, whatever you want. They're relatively inexpensive. I have heard from a lot of people that if you order the carburetors online instead of getting like a Stihl branded carburetor, you can tend to have issues with them. So you may want to just stick with Stihl if you're replacing major components like a carburetor, but you know, air filter, fuel filter, that really doesn't matter. I know when I did this, I didn't replace the line, and this might have been cracked all along, just not as bad, but once it finally split open like this and gas started pouring out, the saw is never going to run. So I'm going to have to dump the gas out of here first, and then we'll take a pair of needle nose pliers and we'll fish that line out. Okay, now that I have my gas pretty much cleared out, you can see there's that line in there and the filter is still attached. I know it's hard to focus, but I'm gonna go ahead and try and reach down here, grab this to get this filter off. Hard to do one-handed. I'll bring you back in a second once I have this out. Okay, so the filter is out of here, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pop this off. This hose has definitely seen better days. It's all collapsed anyway, so we will pull that filter off like that. And then this should be able to pop this line off here. One, and then there is a grommet down in here that holds this in to the housing, so I'm going to finagle this off real quick and I'll show you once we pull it out. So just like that, we pulled out the old line. See how that's all collapsed and bad anyway, and then we have that line that's split. There's that grommet that sticks to the housing. So what we're going to have to do is, I'm just going to replace that filter anyway. Might keep it as a spare because I know I replaced it before. I'm going to pop that. Filter's already off there, so I'm going to pop this line in, hook it up, put the filter on, we'll put some gas in it, and we'll see if we can go ahead and get this out of fire. This line right here, much nicer shape. So this will be the part that goes into your actual tank and your filter connects to. This will be the part that goes to that fuel line. Your grommet, of course, to sit in the housing. Brand new filter. So let's see, without taking any of this off, if I can sneak this down in here. If not, we'll probably have to take off the air cleaner housing, but let's see if we can shove that into there. It's working its way in. Got it. Just making sure this is pushed down all the way and seated. And checking in the tank. Almost. Give this a little nudge. Are we? Not quite seated in there. Let me pick you back up in a few. So, in case you're wondering, an 8mm will take off the air filter housing. These are just two nuts that hold it on. Now I have a little bit more room to sneak in here and try and make sure that this is seated all the way. I'm going to do that, and then I'll pick you back up again in a minute. All right. Didn't have any better luck, so I just pulled this carb right off. As you can see, if it is Stihl OEM, it will say Stihl right on it. All you have to do is this slides on these two nuts right here. There is this connector piece that will ride into here like this. You can just reconnect if you tilt this up properly. There is this connecting rod as well that goes from the handle for your throttle up to here. The easiest thing to do to get this off is to just press your handle, pop this off from here, slide this whole thing out, and this piece for your high and low adjustment that sits on here, you could just pull it off the carb. So now, if we look, I have complete access right there. Put this line in, and it'll make this job a lot easier. All right, so we got our line in, we got our filter back in. New filter. Time to put the carb back on. And just like that, this line hooks in just like so. So then you need this line to go on the back side here. So I am going to put this back in, hook it, twist it so it can't go on. And then if you hold your trigger, and don't flip your line back off, I should say. So put this line back on like so. Hold your trigger. Make sure that gets seated in. It should snap in good. You'll see this car moving, but if I were to hold it, And then I gotta mess with that because that's not actuating appropriately. Oh, there we go. There we go. Sorry. Is actuating appropriately. So now there's a little nipple right there that this fuel line's going to hook into. So we're going to seat that all the way down like so. And then we also need to hook our high and low back in. So there is a little notch in here that this will ride into on the top. So you don't accidentally put this in upside down. Just back this out a touch. Get this lined up. Then this should slide back in place just like that. That kind of holds everything. I gotta put our air filter back on. Careful not to pinch this hose. Let's push that down. Nuts started. I always like to hand start these just to make sure we're not cross threading or anything like that. So remember, these are 8mm nuts. Tighten them up like so. Now remember, this filter housing is just plastic, so you could crack it if you really torque down on this. We want to get this snug, but not super tight. So we start to feel some resistance. Should be good. Okay. So now we just want to put the cover back on. On these older saws, there is a housing right here that you can put in for the colder months. Just this plastic piece just inserts right here, right? So in the warmer months, you definitely want to take these out. It's October right now. It's only about 55 degrees. I'm going to try to start this without this in there to start. So let's go ahead and put our housing back on like so. Tighten this down. That's on. Feels like we got good movement in the controls, so that's good there. So now the only thing that I need to do is pour some mixed fuel back in here, and we'll try starting this saw up. All right, so we have enough mixed gas in here and bar oil to start. Chain is a little loose, but again, we just want to make sure this thing runs. So let's go ahead and see if we can get it to run. Okay, promising. That was on half choke. Okay, no choke. Nothing leaking. No fuel or anything coming out of here. Do smell a little bit of gas. I guess it could be flooded, but not super bad. Come on. Work with me. It wants to go. There we go. There we go. All right. One more saw fixed. And then we got to get to cleaning these up. All right, guys, thanks for watching. I hope you found this entertaining, and I hope you found it useful. If you want to support the channel in a little more direct way, please go down in the video description box. You'll see a link to my Amazon affiliate links for favorite tools. There's no extra cost to you if you do buy something that you see or like through those links, but I do get a little bit of money if you order through there. It's not a sponsorship or anything. They're just tools that I personally enjoy using, and I've used them in the videos and for a longer time than that. So that's just a direct way to support the channel. If you want to just support me in making this content for you guys in a free way, you can just go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe for more content. Free doesn't cost you a dime, but it helps me to keep going for you guys and lets me know the content you enjoy. So thank you.